There have been literally hundreds of updates in the history of Pokemon Go. We've seen the game evolve from a simple and extremely glitchy catching simulator to the complex environment it is today. And yet, there are still so many things that we have yet to see. And today we go over 9 updates that might come to Pokemon Go, starting with Primal Forms. In the main series world of Pokemon, there's a process called primal reversion. Technically speaking, Pokemon that undergo this transformation are said to absorb the energy of nature to restore their full powers. Primals debuted in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire with the Pokemon Kyogre and Groudon. To make these Pokemon go primal, they just had to be holding the appropriate orb. Blue orb for Kyogre and red orb for Groudon. In the anime, these two beasts debuted in the Mega Evolution Special 3, where they had an epic battle and were eventually defeated by Mega Rayquaza. In the trading card game, Primal Kyogre and Groudon cards were released in the sets Primal Clash and Ancient Origins. But in Pokemon Go, these epic forms are nowhere to be found. Why? Well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. It did take them 4 years to release Mega Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and the system sucked. But Primal Revision works sort of similarly to how Mega Evolving works, so for Pokemon Go to add in some sort of primal energy that could be used to then Primal Evolve, Primal Revert, Kyogre and Groudon, it makes sense. It really seems like it's only a matter of time until these two monsters get released into Pokemon Go, but the big question is, how good will they be? The answer is God tier. Primal Kyogre and Groudon will be a max 5,910 CP in Pokemon Go, and they will be the top of their typing for like ever. I also have a Shundo Kyogre, so to Primal Evolve the Shundo Kyogre into the beautiful black shiny Primal Kyogre, oh my god. Breeding. Breeding is a fundamental pillar in the Pokemon universe. Nothing like dropping 2 lovebirds off at the nursery and picking up some eggs after their woohoo time. But the thing is, we're in year 6 of Pokemon Go and we still can't breed. And the only real good explanation I can come up with is the loot box characteristics of how eggs work now in Pokemon Go, and how profitable that strategy actually is. If breeding was introduced into Pokemon Go, people would be able to just, let's say, breed 2 Lucario to hatch Riolu until they got the shiny Riolu. Shiny hunting that way is way more efficient than just randomly hatching eggs like it is right now in Pokemon Go, hoping you hatch a Riolu, hoping even harder you hatch the shiny. It's kind of impossible to shiny hunt specific Pokemon in eggs in Pokemon Go currently. You basically have to just spend a ton of money hatching as many eggs as possible, hoping you luckily hatch the one shiny you're looking for. It's not efficient, but that's probably just how Niantic likes it, because it's expensive and people spend. Like for example, if there was a way to target hunt shiny Riolu through breeding, I probably would have spent like hundreds of dollars less on eggs. And you also have to consider special eggs like 7-kilometer eggs and 12-kilometer eggs. If you could breed Pokemon that hatch out of 7-kilometer eggs, there'd be no sense in opening gifts and interacting with your friends to get the 7-kilometer eggs. Similarly, if you can breed 12-kilometer egg Pokemon, why go out and battle Team Rocket? But in my opinion, breeding would make Pokemon Go significantly more enjoyable, especially the egg hatching feature. I mean, imagine where you could breed 2 Pokemon that you're shiny hunting for and hatch until you get the shiny. That is literally how it works in the main series games. If that feature was implemented, I would hatch significantly more eggs than I do now. But honestly, I think it's only a matter of time until we see breeding put into Pokemon Go. They're probably just figuring out the most profitable way to do it. Remote trading. Trading is another fundamental part of Pokemon and especially useful in Pokemon Go. But what happens when you hit Lucky Friends with a person a world away? Nothing, because you can't trade unless you're in 100 meters of a person. Although during the pandemic, Pokemon Go experienced with longer distance trades and actually brought that feature back during a special event. During the entire month of February 2021, the range was increased to 40 kilometers, which was nice. But since then, we haven't really seen distance trades return. Now, I think the big main reason why we don't have distance trading in Pokemon Go like we do in other Pokemon games is simply because of Pokemon Go. The game is about getting up and going out. And although I think remote trading for lucky trades would be a great feature, I kind of understand why they don't want just unlimited distanced trades for everyone in every situation. Trading in Pokemon Go today promotes community. It promotes going out and interacting in person with your friends and other players. That's like one of the main goals of Niantic with Pokemon Go, is to get people out into the world, interacting with the world around them and the community around them. But I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some sort of distance trading come as a part of like a cool event feature in the future. Master Balls! If you head into your shop and scroll down to the Pokemon storage upgrade, you can faintly see a Master Ball. Technically, it's already in the game. We also just saw the official release of the first new ball in 5 years of Pokemon Go. the Beast Ball. Now that we have brand new balls coming to the game, it's not too far-fetched to think we might see a Master Ball sometime soon. But how? The Master Ball would definitely have its own special research featuring Professor Willow, probably released first during like a Pokemon Go Fest event or some sort of ticketed event. And I honestly doubt we'll get multiple of them. I'm assuming probably just one per person, at least when it's initially released. But if you think about it, what do we need a Master Ball in Pokemon Go for? Shiny Legendaries and Mythicals are guaranteed catches. It's nearly impossible to lose a Pokemon with a Golden Raspberry Ultra Ball. There really is no situation that you need a Master Ball unless you want it for the flex, which is what we want it for. We don't need the Master Ball, but my gosh, do we want one. Kecleon. Kecleon is Pokemon Go's greatest meme. It was actually sort of released once during Chikorita Community Day back in 2018. You could encounter Kecleon, but you couldn't catch it, and you still can't catch it. It's actually the last Pokemon from its generation to be released. But why is this random Pokemon being held back from us? What about it makes it so impossible to release? One answer. Its abilities. Most likely the main reason why Kecleon cannot be released in Pokemon Go is because of two abilities it has, Color Change and Protein. Color Change changes Kecleon's type to the move that was just used against it, and Protein changes Kecleon's type to the move it's about to use. Currently in Pokemon Go, there is no system in place that allows for the changing of a Pokemon's typing. Until we see some sort of mechanic introduced into Pokemon Go where the typing of a Pokemon can be changed, Kecleon will probably stay barred behind its Pokedex number. Dynamaxing. Dynamaxing was introduced in the Sword and Shield games and allowed you to essentially gigantify your Pokemon and boost its stats. It's honestly a really fun feature that results in some sick looking Pokemon. And in Pokemon Go, the Mega system just got a massive rework and it's honestly great now. Dynamaxing will probably work the same way as Mega Evolving does in Pokemon Go, with some sort of Dynamax energy and most likely a Dynamax band you'll get from special research. Although weirdly enough in Pokemon Go, when Mega Pokemon were being sneak peeked during one of the anniversary pictures, the trainer in that picture had a Mega Evolution wristband, but that never came. You never needed that to Mega Evolve Pokemon in Pokemon Go, so maybe no Dynamax band. If I had to guess, we'll probably end up seeing Dynamaxing come to Pokemon Go sometime next year with the release of the Galar generation. But the big question is, will we see Dynamax Adventures released? Dynamax Adventures were a massive part and a really fun part of Sword and Shield. It was kind of a cool endgame thing to do with your friends to shiny hunt some more rare Pokemon. Technically, they're just raids, so maybe some sort of like raid, adventure, Dynamax adventure feature in Pokemon Go. Maybe you could team up with some AIs like your team leaders or Professor Willow, and it's like some sort of campaign mode. Kind of like how in Clash of Clans you have like the goblin maps you could battle, it's like campaign mode. Or maybe you could team up with like 5 of your friends and go on a journey and just battle through like a ladder of difficult raid bosses to get to the big raid boss at the end. Could be really cool. Arceus, the god of all Pokemon. Also Arceus, Arceus, potato. I honestly thought Arceus was going to be released earlier this year during the Season of Heritage, mainly because the theme of the season looked super similar to the game Pokemon Legends Arceus. We didn't though. Arceus never came. And technically that's due to a similar issue as Kecleon, the inability to change typings. Also in Pokemon Go, a Pokemon can't hold items, and that's also a fundamental part of the whole Arceus being released today. Although in Pokemon Legends Arceus, it worked a little bit differently, with Arceus only needing to be exposed to an item to have its type switched rather than having to hold an item. And that's honestly how it will probably work in Pokemon Go, although we still need the typing change mechanic. In Pokemon Go though, Arceus will be a monster, coming in at a max 4,501 total CP. I think technically there'll be like significantly stronger Pokemon than Arceus in Pokemon Go. Maybe not, we'll have to see. But I don't know when we will see it. Hopefully soon. It might be years. The Pokemon Go Battle Pass. Battle Passes have completely taken over gaming, starting really with Fortnite. Other popular mobile games like Clash Royale and Clash of Clans have also implemented Battle Passes that have proven to be extremely successful and a really fun feature. Pokemon Go as a game would actually work really well with a Battle Pass system. Think of it, every month you could buy it for $5. It would work really similarly to how field research works, to where there'd be certain tasks like hatch 10 eggs, catch 100 Pokemon, raid 10 Pokemon. And by completing those, you would progress through the Battle Pass and get different rewards like lucky eggs and raid passes and Stardust. And then it could lead up to like a super sick Pokemon encounter at the end. like maybe like a mythical or a guaranteed shiny legendary. This definitely could be a fun feature and could really help the game during like slow times or bad updates. Keeps the game interesting, gives us all something to do basically at all times, and something to work towards. Creator codes. Okay, this one's a bit biased, but I think it's a great idea. A creator code is basically just a way fans of a content creator can support them directly in-game by using their creator code in the shop. Popular games that have creator codes include Fortnite, Call of Duty, Clash of Clans, Clash Royale. Basically, every time someone buys something in the shop using a person's code, that person gets a little kickback from that purchase. It's just a great way for a gaming studio to support their creator community. And it's especially helpful for like small and mid-sized creators who have a hard time landing brand deals, which is like a really fundamental part of this whole business thing. Figured I'd add a little selfish feature in there at the end. And those are 9 things that might come to Pokemon Go. If you have any other ideas on what might come to the game, let me know in the comments below. Check out the other videos on screen, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.